Cooking is considered as an important household activity in India. However, there is a big difference between cooking in rural and urban India. A rural kitchen is very different from an urban kitchen. In villages, women sit and cook around a traditional wood-burning stove. In towns, women stand and cook with a stove on a kitchen platform. The food cooked, the stoves and the fuel used, the time spent in cooking and generally the lifestyles are all different. Cooking habits are different in rural and urban India. Often the food cooked is also different. So are the stoves and the fuels used. In a village, when there is easy and free firewood and farm residue available, affordability and willingness to pay for fuel is a challenge. Traditional stoves release smoke that is injurious to health. Women complain that smoke from kitchen fires gives them headaches and eye irritation. They do not know that inhaling smoke can also cause serious health impacts like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, cardiovascular diseases, lung cancer, and cataracts. The Lancet has reported that in the year 2015, 1.24 lakh people in India have died because of adverse health effects related to kitchen smoke. The life of a rural woman is full of drudgery. She has to fetch water, fetch fuel, cook food, clean vessels, manage the house and livestock, if any, and also earn money doing hard physical work as farm labor. A smoky stove adds to the problem. International agencies like WHO, World Bank, Clean Cooking Alliances are addressing this problem. Clean cooking is a component of the Sustainable Development Goals SDG 3 on good health and well-being and SDG 7 access to clean energy will be addressed by addressing clean cooking. We have often been asked about the difference between a clean cook stove and an improved cook stove. Just to make it simple, an improved cook stove is any cook stove or fuel combination that is better than the traditional stove. A clean cook stove is one where the emissions released by the stove are very close to standards for indoor air quality. Giving up the traditional stove or using it only on certain days is an important family decision. Either the cost of the stove is too much or the recurring cost of fuel is unaffordable. Women are reluctant to make any change in their cooking pattern because they are often judged at home based on the food they serve. But it is important to stop using the traditional stove and move to a combination of stove for safe and healthy cooking. One way to do this is to completely shift from traditional stoves to LPG, biogas, or electricity. This is difficult for many reasons. Cost of cooking, space availability in kitchen, and concerns around safety and durability. A complete one-time transition is often difficult. This is a difficult decision. One has to consider the increased cost of cooking, the availability of fuel, space in the kitchen, change in taste of food against the benefits of health, time saving, ease and convenience of cooking. The Ujjwala scheme of free LPG connection is becoming popular. So are induction cooktops. Rural households have told Tide teams that they use LPG sparingly because they have to pay for fuel. Monthly budget for purchasing cooking fuel requires behavior change. Often, a familiar intermediate option is to move to an improved mud stove with a chimney. This first step in a transition away from the traditional would stimulate more decisions towards clean cooking and healthy kitchens. A Sarala stove that looks like a traditional stove but offers several conveniences and is also low cost is an easy migration. The fact that it is built by stove builders who live in the vicinity and cook on similar stoves also helps in decision making. Stove stacking refers to a situation where more than one stove is used for cooking in a home. For example, an LPG and a microwave in an urban home or a traditional stove and LPG in a rural home. Tide recommends that Sarala stove as a safe, user-friendly replacement for the traditional stove in a rural stove stack. The Sarala stove is a two-pan stove built using locally available materials like bricks, soil, cow dung, and other locally fabricated stove components like a grate, door frame, chimney pipe, and cap. The life of the stove is 5 years. It costs around 1000 rupees, but the cost can be reduced if the family contributes local materials and in-kind labor. Two important features of the Sarala stove are an enclosed flame and a chimney. These are important considerations for a partial or complete shift from traditional stove and for a clean cooking stack in a rural home. Tide has been training rural women as stove builders for about 10 years now. They construct stoves and take responsibility for their maintenance. They earn about 100 to 150 rupees per stove constructed. It takes 2 to 3 hours to build one stove. The Sarala stove is a very user-friendly stove and does not require any change in cooking habits. But it offers the cook multiple benefits like reduction in fuel consumption and cooking time. It uses the same fuel that is used in traditional stoves, and there is no change in the taste of food. Tide offers on-site and remote training programs for men and women in Sarala stove construction. With this training, women acquire a skill and earn an additional income. It builds their self-confidence and is empowering for them. India is a large and diverse country. Tide has customized the Sarala stove for use in different parts of the country to meet the specific cooking needs of the region. We now have trained stove builders working with local partners in 8 states of India. The trained stove builders are certified by the Skill Council for Green Jobs. For the first transition from traditional stoves to the improved cook stoves, multiple stakeholders need to come together. Tide would be the knowledge partner and provide technical and enterprise training. The intermediary partners provide grassroots connectivity. The stove builders and stove users are an integral part of this transition. Tide invites partners from all over India to participate in its stove builder program. As an intermediary agency, you would have to work with the local community, identify potential stove builders and users, participate in the stove building training, and remain continuously engaged with stove builder and stove users for any feedback. It would help if you can generate funds for training and stove construction. Tide's Sarala stove dissemination has many positives for all elements in the supply chain. The intermediary creates a mechanism for change and contributes to SDG goals. The stove builder is richer with a new skill and additional income. The stove user is cooking in a safer and healthier kitchen. Tide gratefully acknowledges the long-term core support from the Seed Division of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India in this initiative. Grateful thanks to our partners and funders who have supported our efforts in clean cooking over the years. Please contact us if you need more information. Trained and empowered local women stove builders are changing their lives and those of the community whom they serve. Women stove builders are traveling to different villages, having many different experiences. Come, let's work together to create brighter kitchen and happier homes.